Alright, so first off, let's go over the hardware here. So two very beautiful flagship phones, and they just look awesome in these white colors this year. Just really awesome. So the Pixel, as you can see, they have kind of different camera designs here. Pixel has a sort of trademark bar design, and let me know down below which camera design or which design in general do you guys like more here. So the S23 Ultra has a matte finish. The Pixel does have a glossy finish. Now again, with this color, you can't really see fingerprints, but I'm sure with like a black color, you'll be able to see fingerprints a lot. And I just think the camera designs are just beautiful on both of these phones. I like what Pixel did this year, making the camera go all the way around to the sides, and now this is metal as well too. And it just looks really, really nice. The cameras are cut out. And the S23 Ultra, beautiful design. Like I said, reminds me of the LG Velvet, and you can see just you got big cameras on both of these phones here, and I think they just look beautiful. Now the Pixel is definitely way easier to hold. It's not as sharp and boxy as the S23 Ultra, so that's one thing that you will notice. They're both, again, glass and metal devices. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant as well. So one of the big hardware differences with both of these phones is that the S23 Ultra has an S Pen. Now again, I'm not sure, it really comes down to you whether you'll use the S Pen or not, but basically if you're somebody that likes to draw on your phone, then this is extremely accurate stylus. Not only that, but Samsung throws in a ton of software features as well too. And also I've seen people do digital artwork on this as well too. I like to use it for writing down grocery lists, and Samsung just throws in a ton of stuff in here. Or if you just want to navigate with the pen, it's great for that as well too. So it really depends on if you're going to use the stylus or not, if it's useful. If you don't see yourself using it, then it's irrelevant to the comparison then. But the stylus is definitely handy, like I said, if you're in a digital artwork, or if you just like just to use the stylus for writing stuff down. And also there's a really cool thing that if you're a content creator, like a TikTok person, or you're doing YouTube shorts, being able to use the stylus to record video from a distance or to take a picture from a distance. So if you just hit the button, so you can see, let me show you guys, just snap the photo. And you can do that with video as well too, so it's very handy for that. So like I said, some people say, Matt, the stylus is useless. I think it does have its place if you are interested in using it. Let's talk about the screens on both of these phones here. With the S23 Ultra, it's a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, HDR10+, 1750 nits peak brightness, 1440p, 500 for the PPI. The Pixel has a 6.7-inch display, so it's slightly a little bit smaller, if you can see that. And then you also have a 1440p resolution, 512 for the PPI. It's LTPO AMOLED, 120 Hz, HDR10+. This one gets up to 1500 nits peak brightness. So at peak brightness, yes, the S23 Ultra is going to be slightly brighter in direct sunlight, but honestly, they're both super bright, so they just do a fantastic job for brightness. Also, when it comes to design here, you can see very slim edges on both of these phones. The Pixel, okay, so basically they both curve, but they don't curve super dramatic this year, if you guys can see that. So they both have curved screens, but not as dramatic. Obviously the S23 Ultra is a little bit more boxier screen, as you can see here. And yeah, I just like the screens on both. They're kind of similar screens, honestly, when it comes to just the quality, 120 Hertz on both of them. So like I said, pretty much identical in terms of the screens. Like I said, not really a big difference here. They both have the punch hole, and they both pretty much look the same, guys. So not really a massive difference here. Both beautiful screens, honestly. Next, I want to go ahead and touch on software, because this is sort of the big thing here with both of these phones, right? Pure stock Android. So this is Android how Google wants it to look, and we have Samsung skin, the One UI 5.1 skin on here, and they're both extremely nice, OSs to use, right? Samsung's One UI skin basically has a ton of features in it that you won't get on stock Android. And for example, Samsung desktop support is extremely useful, extremely fun, and they just throw in a whole bunch of stuff in here. There's a lot going on in One UI. Can't really cover all of it in this video, but you got secure folders. Also in the advanced settings, if we go down, you just like a ton of stuff and features that you could play with as well. So One UI just has so much stuff. Like the labs is really fun to play with as well. So just know that there's a ton of features in One UI that you could take advantage of. And we're just talking about, we're not even talking about, you know, putting good lock on here and stuff like that. So there's just a lot you can take advantage of. Now Google goes for the opposite. So with like a Galaxy phone, you'll see double applications. So we got our Google stuff, Google Photos and stuff, but on Galaxy phones, you'll have, you know, the browser, and then you got the Chrome, and then you have Google Photos with the gallery on here. It's like double applications, right? With the Pixel, it's just the Pixel applications, and everything is sort of centered around Google. The Google search, basically, that's what it's centered around. It's like very googly phone, right? And when updates first come out, they always hit the Pixel first. So let's say when Android 14 comes out, it'll be first on the Pixel. The betas come out first on the Pixel. So if you're really pressed for like software, just know with a Pixel you're going to get the updates the fastest. One thing I will say is that I still think the Pixel has one of the smoothest OSs, man. It's like the smoothest animations, basically. I don't know what it is, but it just feels extremely fluid, like the animations. Don't get me wrong, One UI is very smooth, but there's just something about the Pixel. So I don't know if you guys have, you know, 6 Pro or Pixel 7 Pro. Let me know. What do you guys think if you've used both One UI and the, you know, stock Android? It's just very smooth for some reason. I just like, it just feels like just buttery smooth, man. Also, like I said, there's not a ton of features with the Pixel. So you have little stuff in here, but it's nowhere near in comparison to One UI in terms of features and stuff that you can do with customizations and all that good stuff. It's very bare minimum stuff. So like I said, those are sort of like the big differences, you know, sort of condensed for you guys. Alright, so let's talk about the specs a little bit more. So the Pixel is running the Google Tensor G2 chip. It does not have any SD card support. 128 gigs of internal storage, 8 gigs of RAM. This version is the 128 12 gigs of RAM though. And then on the Galaxy, you do have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, and then it's also the base model is 256, 8 gigs of RAM. Like I said, this model is 12 gigs of RAM. You can see the big score difference here, you know, with the two chips both running Android 13. And yes, the Galaxy is going to be the overall more powerful phone. So if you're like, obviously you're buying a flagship phone, if you're like a gamer and you want the best, you know, gaming experience, the Galaxy is going to be much better for that. Pixel is really just buttery smooth though. They're both very fast. So I would say my experience with just playing with both phones, just launching and stuff like that, it seems to be pretty much on par with each other. But like I said, you'll notice that the S23 Ultra is definitely a hair quicker, and just getting into video games, applications, it is going to be just slightly a little bit quicker, but I don't think it's anything that is like major. As you guys can see, they pretty much feel the same. But like I said, now let's go ahead and launch PUBG here. And like I said, gaming experience is great on both. They're both more than capable of playing all of the latest games. But like I said, hardcore gamers, you know, just looking at the benchmarks and stuff like that, definitely you have more power to work with on the S23 Ultra. Boom, we're in. And we're in. So you guys can see they're pretty much neck and neck when it comes to loading stuff up. Now for PUBG, they both pretty much play at the same exact settings, both HDR extreme. Now both of these phones are actually capable of playing this game at 90 frames. It just hasn't been updated or it's not optimized yet. But they both run very smooth. And as far as the heat is concerned, I will say the S23 Ultra is definitely one of the cooler phones that I think I've ever used. It's extremely pretty cool. I haven't had this phone get hot on me really at all. No matter what I'm doing, this phone pretty efficient here. But like I said, they both play at HDR Extreme. The Pixel is just as smooth. This one, maybe they up, yeah, nah, it's still. So no 90 frames yet on either of these. But like I said, they're both very smooth experience on both of these. They pretty much feel the same. But like I said, if you want that extra power, you'll go with the S23 Ultra for sure. Alright guys, so S23 Ultra does have improved speakers this year, but the Pixel 7 Pro speakers are pretty good as well. So let's do a speaker test, max volume on both. Start with the Pixel. Man, they sound almost pretty much identical this year. So with the S22 Ultra, there was a massive gap. Was not even comparable with the Pixel. But this year, they're more on par with each other, almost identical, just slightly different, I guess, tones. But yeah, really same loudness, very good bass on both. So very impressed with both. You're going to get an excellent speaker with both of these phones. All right, so here's one thing that I think, so basically the Pixel still has an optical fingerprint scanner, right? And you basically have to apply pressure to it just a little bit. They definitely improved it this year, but you just have to apply just a little bit of pressure to it. Like if I lightly tap it like that, I can't get into it. But if I just a little bit more pressure, right? With the Galaxy fingerprint sensor, you can lightly tap it, like you don't really have to apply pressure to it. So that's one of the big things I noticed. I still like this fingerprint sensor more, but Google has definitely improved it. Like you just gotta apply just a little bit. So it definitely has come a long way, because with the 6 Pro you have to apply even more pressure. So it's not as bad, but I definitely like the Galaxies a little bit more. Face unlock, both still very good on both of these guys. So you do have that option, which is really nice. All right, so let's get into the star of the show, the cameras. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. What do you guys think about the image quality? I took side-by-side stills with both of these phones. Let me know which phone you thought was better. Let's go over these specs first. So the Pixel, it does have a 15 megapixel standard lens, 48 megapixel telephoto lens. It does up to 5x optical zoom. And then you also have on here a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 4K 60, 10.8 megapixel ultra wide selfie cam, and then it also shoots in 4K 60. Now, with the S23 Ultra, this is where the money is going to, the stylus and these beefy cameras, right? 200 megapixel standard lens on here. So basically, takes higher detail shots when you crop in. So if you do a lot of cropping into photos, you'll enjoy having that extra, resolution. And then also a 10 megapixel periscope telephoto lens. It has 10x optical zoom on here as well too. Then you have another 10 megapixel telephoto lens that does 3x. And then you also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide on here as well too. This one shoots in 8K 30 as well. And then you have a 12 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. This one also goes up to 100 times zoom as well, and it takes some great zoom shots. I think there's no competition Samsung has pretty much with these zoom shots. It goes all the way up to 100 times zoom. So check out the photos. Let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, here's just a little test footage of the S23 Ultra here for the video. The 3x, 10x. As you see, just look at the detail. It's really nice. Very impressive. And we do have a 0.6 on here as well too. So just awesome image quality here, man. Alright guys, here is the video on the Pixel 7. Here's the ultra wide on here as well too. Here's our 2x. And then here's the 5x. So overall, it looks pretty good. Be sure to let me know what you guys think here. Alright, so let's talk about battery life. So the S23 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp battery. It does have 45 watt charging with wireless and reverse wireless charging. The Pixel also has a 5,000 milliamp battery. It also has 23 watt wired charging, so it charges slower than the S23. And then you also have wireless, reverse wireless charging. Alright, so basically my battery experience on both of these phones have been pretty good. The battery life on the Pixel 7 Pro is great. It lasts a day. But the S23 Ultra's battery life, to me, is slightly better. It does have slightly better battery life in my opinion. And it's not by much, but you can definitely get, for a light user, 2 days of battery life out of this phone. I can get around a day and a half out of my Pixel, but the S23 Ultra has been extremely impressive when it comes to battery life. And like I said, I do like the fact that it charges a little bit faster than the Pixel. But what's also cool about the Pixel is that this does have 23 watt wireless charging, so it does charge wirelessly faster than this phone. But overall battery life, I would definitely give it to the S23 Ultra. I think it's slightly a little bit better here. Alright, so basically that's pretty much it. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.